So did you want to say something about Nick Bosa before we get out of here?
I'm starting to get a little worried.
Oh, you're starting to get nervous?
Because all we keep hearing is, no worries, it's gonna be a done deal. We all know it's gonna be a done deal. Well, now we're into week almost 3 of camp, and it's still not a done deal yet. So if everyone knows it's gonna be a done deal, and everyone's it's not a problem, it's gonna happen. Why hasn't it happened yet?
I'll tell you why.
Please do.
Yeah, and I've kind of always said this about these contract negotiations. There needs to be some sort of a deadline that helps get these deals done, right?
Yeah.
So we heard John Lynch talk about, hey, it usually takes 3 weeks for a player to be ready for the regular season. We haven't reached that 3-week mark yet.
No.
There's 2 weeks in September, so he needs to have it done sometime before the Chargers game. So we're about a week and a half away from this deal needing to be done. But in all the other situations, minus Fred Warner, right? George Kittle was at practice. They wanted to get it done. They didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel was a lock-in, but they needed to get him in. But with Nick Bosa, there's no incentive to get it done right away because, number one, he's not being fined.
No.
So there's no reason for him to show up. He's not there every day. And so...
But there was a report yesterday saying that he's going to end up being fined $1 million.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Which I was surprised because everything they said is no. Well, A, they weren't going to fine him, and B, supposedly in the CBA, they can't fine him.
Yeah, in the CBA, they can fine him. So he's in his 5th-year option, so it's not a $50,000 like Chris Jones, $50,000 of practice he misses. For Nick Bosa, it's $40,000. But both Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch said they're not worried about that. Basically, they're going to waive it.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think there's really anything that's making this a rush. But I do think we're going to get to that point. I think that what they're probably working on right now is they're probably really close on the total overall number. And a lot of the work is going on to guaranteed money and language of contract. And I think that's a lot of it. And let's be honest, Parag Marathi and the rest of the 49ers cap guys have to make sure they structure this contract for sustainability for this franchise as well. Even though early on, they'll probably free up some money, they've got to make sure they can roll over as much money as they can into the next couple of seasons because right now they're about $35 million over next year's cap.
Yep.
And they've still got to, handle a guy like Brandon Ayuk and other guys. And I hate to say it, but next year we have to talk about extending Talanoa Hufanga, possibly Deommodore Lenoir. There's a lot of conversations that are going to have to happen. And I think that guys like Kyle Juszczyk are going to have to restructure their contract after next year, which he has an opt-out, to be able to, kind of sustain this.
Well, two probably.
Yeah, it could be. It could come down to that happening. So I think this is going to get done, Jason, but I think it's going to get done.
It's just the idea
in the next week
everyone
or so.
says, it's not a problem. We're all good then. Okay, if we're all good, then I don't see him yet. So let's go.
I think you started to hear from Tim Ryan, right, where he's like, we need to get Bosa in here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to start kind of that fever pitch is going to pick up. John Lynch and them will probably, want to get something done. As long as this doesn't filter in the season, though, I think we'll be okay.
Right.
Full episodes of The Ant Hill Show are available over on Patreon. 49ers Cutback on Patreon. Thanks for watching.